brings growth and renewal. We focus on supporting every student in reaching their academic and life goals. May our choices tonight reflect a deep commitment to opportunity and excellence. Let us foster environments where students feel seen, supported, and inspired to achieve their fullest potential. Let us honor outgoing and incoming board members in serving our community. Together, may we continue cultivating a future where learning thrives, dreams are nurtured, and success is within reach for all.
Anna Rowland, Nancy Zimmershed, Robin Riley, Judy Troop, present.
Next item on the agenda is the discussion and action to administer the oath of office and to seat Joe Baden Jr. as board member for Board Number 5. It is my understanding that this election will be held afterwards, after Eric Johnson does the swearing in.
You gotta go to the front. Okay. I can't hide in the back. No. Everybody can see me. Where do you stand at? For the picture.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby declare under oath
I hereby declare under oath
that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of a member of the Board of Education of the Ponca City Public Schools of Ponca City, Oklahoma.
Board of Education of the Ponca City Public Schools in Ponca City, Oklahoma,
To the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
all the duties pertaining to said office
all the duties pertaining to said office
and obey the Constitution
and obey the Constitution
and laws of the United States and Oklahoma.
and the laws of the United States and of Oklahoma.
Good job.
Congratulate you and welcome you as the newest board member to the Ponca City School Board. Next item is the election of the president, vice president, clerk, and deputy clerk of the board, each of whom shall serve for a term of 1 year. It is my understanding that the superintendent will do this one.
Yes, this is the only time I get to talk and like sit down here. I usually stand up there and talk. So at this time, Board of Education, every year after the election for school boards, we have to reorganize the board and elect a president. With that being said, at this time, I will take nominations for presidents of Ponca City School Board.
I, Nancy, will nominate Robin Riley.
I hear a nomination for Robin Riley as president. Are there any other nominations? Any others? Hearing no others, I'm going to close nominations at this time and call for a roll call of the board.
Nancy Zimmershed. Aye. Joe Baden.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Robin Riley.
Aye.
I will turn it over to the newly elected board chair, Mr. Robin Riley. Congratulations.
Okay, we now need to elect the clerk of the board and the deputy clerk afterward, after which we will do first off the vice president of the board. Do you have a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Nancy Zimmershed.
Are there any other nominations for vice president of the Ponca City School Board? Hearing no other nominations, I ask for roll call vote of the board members present.
Judy Troop. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Joe Baden.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Congratulations, Nancy.
Motion carries. Now we will elect the clerk of the board and the deputy clerk. It is my pleasure that I would recommend that we propose Lori Graham serving as the clerk of the board and Maureen Dooley as the deputy clerk. And these recommendations also are part of the superintendent's package that he provided us. Do I have any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, again, I ask for a vote of the existing members of the board.
Nancy Zimmershed. Aye. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Aye. Joe Vaden.
Aye.
Motion carries. I don't know what they got into. Next on the agenda is the presentation and the recognitions. The recognition of the coach, Jessica Weisskopf, and the Special Olympic athletics.
All right, Jessica, you guys want to bring your groups up front?
All right, you guys want to come up here?
Board of Education in City of Ponca City, it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome our Wildcats Special Olympic athletes. Holly Ladner was our first year's head coach, and 4 years ago we started out just doing track and field. Second year we added bocce and both single and unified doubles events. But this year Jessica Weisskopf is our head coach, and we've added basketball skills, we've added swimming, we've competed in our first winter state games. In January, we've also added cornhole singles and doubles to our summer game season this year. Jessica gave me a fantastic write-up, and I'm gonna hit some of the high points. But Jessica, I want you to introduce your athletes first. Why don't you tell us who everyone is?
Wow, okay. Well, we don't have everybody here, but we have quite a few.
And they have more gold medals than Michael Phelps.
Well, this is Roman Munoz. We've got Andrew Jones. We got Coulter Coggins here. We got Tucker Schaefer. This is Monroe. This is Bella Jones. This is, Piper Porter, Emma Grace, Chandler Monks, Layla Greenfield. This is working my brain. Izzy Hermes. We got Marshall Brown. We got Noah Blackwell. We got Eric Shutt, Colton Davidson. We got Sarah Morgan. And we got Kaylee Jackson. And then we have 3 of our unifieds here today. We have Ella Wyckoff, Kennedy Sholey, and Maddie Cargill. All here
It makes the superintendent's heart happy, 1, to see all the smiles, but 2, to see all those gold and blue ribbons. You guys keep up the great work, but I'd be remiss, we had, this past November, we took 11 athletes to the area basketball skills at Frontier School District. Layla Greenfield, Sean Skinner, Bella Jones, Jamarian Lee, Marshall Brown, and Andrew Jones all took first place in their division. Cashlyn Hornet took second in her division, and Sarah Morgan, Emma Grace, and Kaylee Jackson took third. Chandler Monks took first in the 50-meter freestyle and third in the 50-meter backstroke. In January, we headed to our first state winter games where Chandler went to Edmond to compete in swimming. Chandler came away with a gold medal in both her 50-meter freestyle and 50-meter backstroke. And then we took 9 athletes to Norman to complete basketball skills where they had an outstanding showing. They wanted to let the board know and the community know that they are more than welcome to come attend one of our practices where you'll see our athletes working hard and having fun with our coaching team. That I would be remiss as superintendent not to recognize the contributions of Sheila South, Sandy McGraw, Holly Ladner, Alan and Heather Monks, Kim Schooley, Jennifer Cargill, and Caden Mercer, all PCPS dedicated employees who help make these children's dreams come true. They practice each Thursday at Union Elementary on the playground and track till 5:30. Then the first 2 Thursdays of May, they will be at OI practicing on Solons on the track to get ready for the summer state games, which will take place in Stillwater. We're going to win all those, right?
Yes.
That's good. May 14th through 16th is our Summer Olympics game, and that happens to also be the last 3 days of school, so I'm going to take off to go join them. That's what I'm going to be doing. We should probably just dismiss school with 3 days. But Board of Education in City of Ponca City, I wanted to recognize these athletes for working so hard, being outstanding Wildcats that not only inspire us on the field of play, but inspire us every day in our classrooms and our buildings. So please join me in saying thank you to our Wildcat Special Olympic athletes. birthday games. You guys were here early and on time. I'm so impressed.
I'm impressed with how quiet they were.
They did so good.
They did so good.
You ready to go, Papa?
Are you gonna go play some more medals?
Next, we will have the employee of the month, which is Ms. Tracy McHenry. She is a second grade teacher of Union Elementary, and she is a certified teacher.
Okay, this says, Tracy McHenry is the kind of educator who leaves a lasting mark, not just on her students, but on her colleagues, her school, and her entire community. Her strength, passion, and love for teaching shine through in everything she does. It's no surprise that so many of her colleagues have nominated her for this award. There isn't a single person who doesn't recognize the dedication she brings to Union and Ponca City Public Schools. Tracy doesn't just teach, she pours her soul into every aspect of her work, whether she's in the classroom, mentoring fellow teachers, running flex groups, or planning win time. She is always giving her best. But her impact goes beyond the school day. She works countless concession stands at the high school events, teaches summer school, and helps during her summer with enrollment, continuing to serve her community in every way she can. No matter what grade level she teaches, there's no doubt that she will bring the same energy, wisdom, and leadership that make her such an invaluable part of our family. What truly sets Tracy apart is her marigold spirit. Always uplifting, always supportive, and always making those around her better. No walnut trees here. Tracy, you are a true asset to Union, and we are beyond grateful for everything you do. Thank you for your hard work, your heart, and the incredible difference you make every single day. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition as a certified employee of the month. Second?
Tracy not only brought her own cheering group, she brought her sister, her mother, and her husband.
Yes! Yes!
For her cheering group.
Bringing the crew.
Okay, next we'll have the support employee of the month, which is Aiden Godfrey.
That's how we are lucky Union. I mean, not only what you saw here, which we are blessed to have our special needs classes, but on top of that, just the team and the family. So Miss Aiden also does all of these wonderful things. So this says, today we proudly celebrate Aiden, a remarkable paraprofessional whose dedication, compassion, and talent have made a lasting impact on our students and staff. Aiden's journey began as a long-term substitute, but it didn't take long for Miss South and everyone around her to realize that she was truly meant to work with students with special needs. From that day forward, Aiden has been the perfect addition to our classroom and our school. Her patience, kindness, and natural ability to connect with students make her an invaluable support system for both learners and educators. She brings warmth, understanding, and unwavering dedication to every interaction, helping students grow academically, socially, and emotionally. Not only does she uplift the students she works with, but she also strengthens our entire school community with her positivity and teamwork. What makes Aiden's contributions even more inspiring is her commitment to the future. She is actively working towards becoming a special education teacher herself. There's no doubt that she will continue to change lives and make a difference for many years to come. Aiden, we are beyond grateful for you. You are hands down one of the best supports for anyone, anywhere you are needed. Thank you for your hard work, your heart for our students, and your incredible spirit. We celebrate you today and always. Congratulations on being April's Support Employee of the Month. We draw out the best ones, and then they become teachers. So.
And the last, but surely not the least, is the Friend of Education, which is the city of Ponca City.
Usually I'm on the other side giving out these awards. Now I'm going to step in this role. Through all the bond projects and everything we do as a district, from power, utility, everything, we work hand in hand with our partners at City of Ponca City. Here accepting the award is Kim Bradley from our Building Services Department here in Ponca City. Ponca City Public Schools is proud to present the Friends of Education Award to the City of Ponca City in recognition of our valued partnership and incredible support you provide to our schools and students. Through your collaboration, PCPS has been able to maintain efficient facilities and meet the diverse needs of our students, fostering a safe and enriching environment for learning and growth. We extend our deepest gratitude to the following departments for their ongoing commitment and services: Parks and Rec, Development Services, Energy, Broadband, Regional Airport, Emergency Management, Environmental Services, Police and Fire. Your dedication directly impacts the success for our students and strengthens the entire Ponca City community. We look forward to many more years of partnership as we continue to serve and grow together.
The three award winners will step out in the hallway and get your picture taken, and it'll probably be in the Ponca City News. Maybe. Well, it depends on what the
Callie's
Do we have any comments on that? Next, we will do the report of the potential board discussion. We'll start with the internship.
Wow, this is empty. I hope it wasn't because of me. Everybody move up to the front. I really appreciate you all having me today and welcome to the first meeting. I just want to tell you a little bit about the Wildcat internship program that we have at the high school. And it's one of our strongest programs that we have going forward, especially as we try to reach the goal of having 100% post-secondary participation for all students by the time we graduate. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the history of it. But I do appreciate you having me today, and the program has been rooted in the belief always that students deserve a meaningful next step. Sure.
Sorry.
Sure, absolutely. How's that? Is that a little bit better? And so it's not just a plan on paper, but it's real-world experience that help them find direction and confidence. And internships are a way to bridge the gap between school and what comes next. And they're becoming one of our most important tools for building connections between students, schools, and community. So where did we start? 6 students. That's not very many, just a few years ago. So it's grown steadily year after year, with just a few dips maybe during COVID, I guess, but the momentum has really been undeniable. In 2018, we had 25 student interns, and for next year, we'll already have 160 students that are enrolled, and that number is going to increase. It always does right at the beginning of the school year. So I think we're hitting close to 200 very soon. So basically, if you add that up, we have had over 540 students go through the Wildcat internship program since it began in 2016. And that kind of growth is really only possible because of strong support from our district leadership and our school staff, and over the 130 local businesses and organizations who participate as our community host partners. So what we focused on this year, I started the position towards the end of the school year last year, and we had a really smooth transition thanks to a really strong foundation left by the previous coordinator. I was really able to step into that role with a lot of continuity and momentum, and quickly connect with students and build on established relationships. The internship program growth this year includes not just more students, 147 this year, and already 160, as I mentioned, for next, but also more community partners and increased access. A quick side note about that access, about 10% of our interns use school bus transportation to reach their internships. So we want to make, we don't want them to have any barriers, so we really appreciate the leadership of the district to support us that way. It's really very meaningful support. So in terms of strengthening and clarifying individual internships, I collaborated to develop very focused internship position descriptions. And that just sort of happened organically. And some of the ones that I worked on was working with a partner with the Flight Academy, and we built a curriculum for a very strong internship. They really put a lot of thought into it and brought it to me, which shows me how much support we have from a lot of our community partners. There are many out there who are really ready to step up and not just provide a space, but provide mentorship. And we're really grateful, and I'm really trying to hone in when I meet those people, because it's really proven to be very, very beneficial in the work that we've done so far this year. We're having some good things in place for next year. And I also wanted to say that some of the rabbit holes that I've gone down, but I've really enjoyed them, or when a student comes to me and says something like, not just I want to be a veterinarian, but I want to be a wildlife rehabber. What can you do for me? And I actually found a wildlife rehabber. It took me a bit, and I was not only able to meet that the student wants to do his zoology program when they go to college, but I tread with my blazer and my rubber boots out into the far reaches of Call Lake and sat with skunks in my arms, and with wonderful people that were ready to open their homes to be available for any of our students that want something a little bit different than a vet clinic or the great work that they're doing with the Humane Society. And that was the student's idea. When they mentioned that, I said, that sounds great. I got so excited. And then afterwards I said, what am I getting myself into? But that's exciting for me. I like these creative internships. I think it's wonderful when students come with ideas of themselves and we work on it together to see if we can get there. So we're also supporting ICAP implementation. And we want to make sure that what we're doing really connects directly with students' post-secondary planning and the graduation requirements. We did that a little bit this year when we did our career fair, which I'll talk about next, but we worked with the advisory teachers to incorporate that into their advisory classes, and that really proved to be beneficial for a lot of engagement that happened at our career fair. So just a quick little bit about how the program works. If you're not familiar, the students are enrolling now. I start to meet with them soon. They're already coming in, they've been coming in actually all year. I have students that have come in and asked me to write down notes for what they want 2 years from now, so I think that's exciting. The juniors can take up to 2 hours of internship, so they're gone during the day, during the school day. The seniors can do up to 3 hours of internships. They still get 1 credit for the internships, but sometimes extra time enables them to get a lot more out of the work that they're doing on the ground. We work with assessments that are listed in their OK Career Guide, and a lot of just sitting down and talking about what do you want to do, how do you see yourself, and within one conversation, as you can imagine, with 16, 17-year-olds, we can start with a vet, and we can end up as a flight nurse, and we somehow end up holding skunks in our hands at the end of that conversation. So and I think that leads us back. We all know that this is as adults, we know it's not a straight road, and it's like that for us. I just want to emphasize to them that they don't have to put that pressure on themselves to expect that they're going to make a straight beeline to exactly what they want. And this is the time to really get to know some of the things that they're interested in and explore it a little bit more. So it's very helpful. And sometimes it helps them decide what they don't want to do just as much as they decide what they do want to do. Both are very meaningful for their own journey. And so once they're placed, the students, they do weekly reflection assignments, and they check in monthly with me, and they participate in an end of semester evaluation, and we sort of reflect on their own growth and experience through the year. Let's talk a little bit about our community partnerships, because that's really growing, and I'm excited about that. We are now partnered with 136 businesses and organizations in Ponca City since the program began, and nearly 36 of those have joined us just this year. And that includes everything, and I mean everything, from the skunk holding that I mentioned to nonprofits, legal offices, dental offices, tribal partners. We're with the U.S. Army at their new recruitment center. We are with new printing companies, more construction companies, trades, manufacturing, the arts, everything in between, and a lot of internships are also within the district for the Ponca City school system. And one thing I've done is strengthen those positions a little bit more. For instance, with an example of that would be working in the STEM with their interns, so they can actually work say, with the theater department and create through 3D printing specific props that they couldn't necessarily get on Amazon or build yourself, things like that. And so they're meeting the needs of other departments within the district. And we've had the teaching students, interns for quite a while, and that's also growing. And I'm excited, I think I was mentioning this to Dr. Hawkins earlier, that some of the teaching interns have come in and they're so happy and proud of the work that they've done through internship, that they'd like to wear special graduation stoles come commencement day. And they're really embracing some aspects of owning their experience, and I think that's a great sign. I couldn't go forward without mentioning, of course, the Ponca City Development Authority. They're a key partner. They're a cornerstone partner offering business connections. I don't know what I would do without zoning and everybody over there. They've really helped guide and get me connected with a lot of local community business partners and leaders. They help with marketing. As you can see, they did not help with this PowerPoint presentation, but they should have. And it's been a real pleasure to work with them. And some of the community outreach and partner recruitment that I do, I work diligently. Anyone I meet, I'll tell them when they need an intern, but mostly I go to the education and workforce development meetings that are put on by the chamber. I also attend the business after hours, and almost always they lead to new relationships and fresh thinking around workforce readiness, so it's been very beneficial to key into some new internships and also to revive old partners who maybe have a gap in hosting. I mentioned the career fair earlier, and I think that's something just to pause and talk about a little bit. It was a really, really big event for Pohai. We had over 700 students come. That's more than we've ever had. Again, we worked with the advisory teachers, and they were able to bring their students in, and that really helped engagement a lot with a lot of our community partners. We had more businesses come than we ever have, and teachers were very supportive of that, and we really appreciate that. And I think that just shows we have really strong cooperation with our staff. And every student who signed in also is able to count that event towards their ICAP graduation requirement, which was really helpful and maybe sometimes a motivator to get them in the door. But once they were there, they stayed, and there was a lot of engagement. We followed up with some businesses that participated with a survey. And we had some really good feedback. About 70% said they were interested in hosting interns for next year, and about 36% said that they met students that they actually plan to hire. So that was really cool. So it was a limited sample, but I think those results really reflect what we felt in the room that day for everybody that was there. It was real engagement. A lot of strong connections were happening, and enthusiasm from the community, and we like to see that. So as we look ahead towards next year, we're just a really big piece, I think, of this idea of post-secondary experience for all our students before they get to graduation. Their internships are one of the most flexible, meaningful, student-focused things that we have. A curated student journey, if you will. And we really are focused on growing with purpose, and not just in size, but in impact. Along with all of the other pathways, I think that internship really is an area of continued growth, and it seems to me good portion of all juniors and seniors are taking this opportunity, which is great to see. And so we already have 160 enrolled for next year. With that comes definitely a need for clearer systems and stronger preparation. And I want to focus on a few areas, and that's to streamline our enrollment application process. We definitely have, we're working more with Wildcat Academy, and so I want to make sure that it goes smoothly for them, our virtual students. We also want to work more, I'd like to work more with advisory teachers, not just at Pohai, of course, but in the middle schools. So we all have can support each other's understanding and align with ICAP task completion. And utilizing the OK Career Guide really appropriately, make sure that we're all on the same page from those middle school years on, and it makes for a much smoother process as our high schoolers move near graduation. We want to enhance career literacy guidance and develop academic career pathway guidance to better serve student needs, and that means seeing if we can create plans to help students connect more and understand job markets, job search strategies, and community mentorship resources that we might have available, and create them also. And job readiness boot camps. This one speaks to me. I want to dig in deep here because I want to be responsive to our community partners' feedback needs to address students' current state of their employability. But I want to pause for a second, highlight something that stood out to me as I gave them their course orientation. It was fairly long, a few pages. I asked them mostly about their goals, what they wanted to get out of the internship, if they could identify a mentor, and everyone filled it out in a different way. Sometimes they just wanted to get through it really quickly. Others were very thoughtful. But there was a last question on it, and the question was, what are your biggest fears, roadblocks, and questions as you move forward towards transitioning out of high school? And this was really stunning to me because almost every single student really got vulnerable in those, and they talked about, they all had the same, say the same thing. I am scared, ... I am scared, ... I am afraid I won't. And it all has to do with, they have a sense of where they think they're supposed to be, but just a real fear for not knowing if they can get there. And I think that's really important because if we work on areas with these boot camps like communication, time management, and dress appropriately, and customer service skills, and resume building, and all these things as adults we're supposed to know how to do, it can definitely lead to more positive outcomes as they transition into the workforce. But more importantly, I really hope that it leads to a little bit more confidence, a little less fear, as they give themselves more tools to navigate the road, which we know is not a direct line, but it's the twisty, turvy line that we all kind of go through. And if we can remove those barriers, making them a little bit more prepared, I think that's a good thing. And this program should always keep that front and center, and I intend to do that. And just sort of wrapping it up, I just want to say I want to thank you all for having me. The Wildcat Internship Program, it continues to grow because of the incredible support from district leaders and school staff, community partners, and this board. We're aligned with the district's mission, and we're working hard to give students more than just a class period. We're giving them a sense of direction, hopefully, a sense of purpose, and sometimes even a job offer, hopefully. And some more, it's happening more. We like to see that. So with over 130 partners and more than 540 students served, this program is, I think, making a difference in how students see their futures and what they believe they're capable of. And so I really want to thank you all. Thank you for believing in this work program, and thank you for believing in our Wildcats.
You don't get off quite that easy.
Okay.
We've got a couple questions. With the 540 students since inception, how many is your best guess that have obtained a full-time job here in the Ponca City area?
That's a great question, and that we're working to get a lot of those numbers. We have it from, we take surveys from year to year. They're mostly centered around our career fair right now with, did you meet a direct hire? So in terms of tracking that, it's very much one of our main goals to focus on tracking how many stay within Ponca, because the more that we can connect them, we can hopefully
I
get.
mean, that is the ultimate test.
It is, isn't it?
Proof's in the pudding, if this is working or not.
Right, absolutely. And we see a lot of movement towards, they're in manufacturing, they're hiring a lot of our students, especially. We are in a lot of retail and food services that are already hiring. And I would say that currently, the ones that are in internship that are also, it's led to a job, it's roughly about, I'm talking about this year since I've been taking those, is about half. And I think, I can't extend that to the whole program for the past few years, but I think that bodes well for hiring.
One other question. Those 160 that you anticipate for next school year, what kind of dropout rate do you have?
It's very minimal, actually. I'd say it's about 3 to 4.
Out of the 160?
Yes. Yeah. There'll be some that only do it for one semester, fall semester. I'll lose maybe 10, and then they'll gain 10 new ones for the spring semester. So it ends up being about even in terms of ones that just completely drop out at any point from applying. There's just a handful in my experience for this past year.
All my questions.
Okay, anybody else? I'm
Have
happy
any
to-
questions?
No, I just also like to say that it's not just about finding that job. It's like, say Alex, when she helped at Lincoln, she knows she wants to work with kids, maybe not necessarily as a teacher, but working with kids, so it helps them guide to where they
Yeah.
want to go in the future, and that's amazing.
Exactly.
And I think one of the strengths in the program, speaking of not only as a superintendent, but as a dad that has a daughter that did an internship with Integris Health here in town, and now is doing a school internship in athletic training. She thought she wanted to do something medical, but didn't know she had to not just work in a hospital, that she could consider athletics or in other organizations and groups. That is a powerful thing. And I did want to say, remind this board, this program, it seems like yesterday we were at OSSBA and we were talking about, we were so proud to have 100 kids, or no, 100 businesses and 100, and I think at that time about 120 kids, and now we're almost hitting 140 businesses and 160 plus kids in just this next school year. So I think that's a testament to two things. One, our high school's goal, and it's a great goal, and I'm fully supportive, is to have 100% of our students participating in post-secondary opportunities before they leave us. I mean, we have an obligation to educate them every day, but I think part of that education is presenting to them a plan on what they're going to do after high school and getting them exposed to different things. So the internship checks a big box there for us in that. You can also get PTC or concurrent enrollment or AP classes to help meet that goal. But I think we have an obligation as a school board and district to make that happen. And I do want to recognize PCDA because prior to Kristen and Jordan, our last two internship coordinators, it was kind of a hot potato job that really it was hard for someone to do as an extra duty, give it the attention it needed. So I think our last 3 years of growth has been a result of this board's intention and PCDA's intention to partner up and fund that staff position to put boots on the ground and focus on this. So I do commend you all to seeing that through. And our goal with these presentations each year is to show that there are results coming because of that. So I just want to thank you all for doing that. And Of those 540 kids, Robin, I hope we have all of them come back to Ponca and they have 540 Wildcat kids of their own and bring them into our school district, because I think that's part of our mission, is to create opportunities for these kids and show there's a lot of opportunity still in this community and that we're big believers in Ponca City. So thank you, Kristen, for doing that.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report with potential board discussions afterwards.
All right, thank you, everybody. Joe, congratulations on your election and welcome to the board. I'm going to be the best superintendent in the state of Oklahoma to work with, I promise you that. And then if you don't like it, there's lots of laws on how to fix that, and you can take care of that. As an update to the board, I know Robin and Judy were there. We had an orientation with Mr. Baden last week. It was just last week, wasn't that? We took a short dip into everything Ponca City Public Schools and all to the directors and different departments that we have, and all the laws and reasons why we have those departments, and all the obligations we try to meet as a district. We were able to cover that in just a short 4 hours. 4.5 hours of a short overview of what the district has going on. It was good. I was really proud of our directors to get that done and present that. You know, there's a lot that the community doesn't see because you don't want to know. It's how the sausage is made, right? You don't want to know how the sausage is made. You just want to make sure that my kid gets, or my school bus gets my kid picked up on time and taken to the right school and fed lunch in a nicely cool building where the lawns are mowed and you have a highly certified teacher doing it with a highly certified principal, and all of their accommodations are being met by the school district. And we have individuals checking out all those reports and making sure that's all done. So we pride ourselves in making sure that we're trying to do things by the books and get that stuff done. But there's just a lot to school, and I'm looking forward to your contributions on the board, Joe, and that's about all the kissing up you're going to get from me for the rest of the term. So, end of the year plans, guys. We are busy right now. We have a few things going on in the school district. First thing I want to talk to you guys about is we've got some graduation requirement work that needs to be done, and this plan will need to be brought to you all as a board to approve. Not just because Adam wants to do it, because House Bill 3278 that was passed last year starts for 8th graders coming into our school district in August. So we have what's called an advisory committee that we have to convene with multiple different individuals from the community, business partners, education partners, to discuss what are called pathway units. The state has provided some guidance on different pathway units you can consider. A pathway unit is really basically a course or plan of study that would kind of align to identify job needs in the state of Oklahoma. So there might be a manufacturing pathway, there might be an aviation pathway, there might be an engineering pathway, there might be computer technician pathways. So we've got a lot of pathways that I feel like our high school already does just through what our normal regular offerings are. But we have to formalize that as a board and adopt those. And so Deanna and TAG, myself, are convening a group. We have asked PCDA to come on board with this strategically, because if they come on board with this, they'll buy us lunch, I think. So if I ask, the educator always knows where a free meal is. So sorry, Jeff, but they pay for all the lunches at the career and job fair too. So we know how to work that system there. But it is going to be good because they have the connections to the business community, because part of this is we have to get input from our local business partners on different career pathways. This can also be important because part of the graduation requirement changes requires, one of the other things outside of pathway units is the adoption of a 4th math class required for graduation. So it's going to be real interesting as we get these business and education minded individuals in the room talking about what that next math is. Is it calculus? Is it algebra 3? I hate that, but you know, I gotta keep my personal opinions out of it. Is it math for manufacturing? Is it, you know, just there's different discussions that are going to need to occur and take place as we formulate a plan to bring to this board to review and discuss. Now, some good news: State Department of Ed and the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Ed have provided some guidance for us to consider We can't, you have to meet certain rigor thresholds for what your classes are teaching, your concepts are gonna be. But it does give you some local control as a board to identify what you think is best suited for our students in Ponca City. So as that fleshes out, we're gonna meet on the 24th, and so that time's coming up pretty quickly, and we'll probably have a couple meetings before we bring something to you guys June and July to discuss and review. So, and you really can't say no to it. You have to get this, because we have to have this ready to go for 8th graders coming up. But there's been a lot of behind the scenes work to get to this point, and as we transition into these new graduation requirements, I think this board will have a little bit to do. I do want to highlight there is a new enrollment process for Ponca City Public Schools. Historically, we've always started enrollment after July 1st for a number of reasons. The big one being Chef Jeff and child nutrition needing free and reduced lunch counts. But we cannot wait for the federal government anymore. But we're going to do our best to make sure he gets as many applications, because that's funding in our pocket. But early on in the school year, it became kind of evident, maybe the superintendent, we would do course selection for kids in secondary in February, March, and then the district would turn around and say, hey, I want you to re-enroll in July. So it's like, well, I've already told you we want to take these courses next year. Why wouldn't that just count as enrollment? So we tried to streamline that. There's still 2 separate processes, but now registration is open now instead of July 1st. So I've already enrolled my 2 kids that are returning. I have 3 in the school system, but one's graduating hopefully May 16th. So I'm only going to have 2 students. So all active students can enroll now. I think Erica, you've enrolled yours. Jennifer, have you enrolled yours? No. Jason? I'm on it. Well, 50% of your admin are doing it. That has school-age kids. So we'll get it. I thought it was important for us to do it so we could see if there's any bugs in the system or what, but, and that's been some great feedback. Honestly, it was super easy, convenient. I did one on my phone and another one on the desktop computer, and I was able to upload our gas bill just through my email onto the Power School to verify our attendance zone hasn't changed, so my hopefully soon-to-be first grader can still attend the same elementary school next year. So I tried to view it through the lens of what our public has, and I thought it was really, really slick. So one thing that I think was really powerful in this is that our teachers are going to be able to log on to Power School every day, and when they click on that student, they're going to see if that child is already enrolled for next year or not. So as principals and teachers are wrapping up the school year, that's just another touch point for us and our families to say, hey, we noticed you haven't gotten enrolled, we'd like to get you enrolled, but are you hitting any roadblocks, any potential issues? So a couple things. One, it prevents a backlog of people showing up on the first week of July at the registration center and frazzled, saying I can't get my kid enrolled, and PCPS does this every year. And then number 2, it gives us an opportunity to plan better as district administrators for where are we seeing higher enrollment, lower enrollment, do we need to adjust any class sizes or teachers to other buildings that have higher needs. So I think it's going to give Jennifer, myself, Erica more flexibility to not be scrambling as much. We probably will still scramble because people will wait till the last minute, but the intent's not there. The intent is for this to be easier for parents and families to get done now while you're thinking about school. Because no one wants to think about school in July except us people. So, any questions about the new enrollment process? All right. We are still accepting free and reduced lunch applications after July 1st. I say that because our Title I, a lot of our funding comes from our free and reduced counts. So it's very important for our families to continue doing that. They cannot do that until after July 1st. That's not a Ponca City rule. That's not an Oklahoma rule. That's just the federal government rule. So, but we'll be able to still catch those families, meet your teacher night, back to school nights, or whatever at the beginning of the school year to make sure they get the application completed and turned in for our records so that their kids can do that. So, any questions? More in the year plans. Prom this weekend. They keep telling me there's a chance for rain. Judy, I don't know. It was 40% yesterday. It was 58% today. So it's going in the wrong direction.
So what's the 15th?
The contingency plan for prom, I mean, prom will still be in the mansion, but we will do, they tell me I've never been here when it's rained during prom, but I guess the contingency is at Robinson Fieldhouse. And it will still be at 6 o'clock. We will try to make the announcement by noon on Saturday, so. And I'm not gonna make that decision because I don't want people mad at me, I'm gonna make Jason make that decision, so. And then if it's wrong, I can be mad at him with you guys. No, I'm kidding. We'll do superintendent, Jason, and Tag, we'll get together and make that. But we'll let people know on our Facebook, team radio, and probably Power School app notification to let people know when prom gets changed. Wednesday, I know we talked about this in committees last week, but it's kind of a neat opportunity for us. Norman Public Schools was granted one of the opioid grants from the Attorney General's office for $125,000 for 15 years. To do a suspension, kind of an alternative to long-term suspension for students with drug or alcohol abuse or substance abuse. And we're gonna meet, the high school principal and Dr. Hawkins, we're gonna go down there on Wednesday to talk with the grant writer and the individuals that are implementing this. They've had tremendous success in Norman with this, and recidivism rate has dropped. That's repeat offenders. Students that have been initial violations have dropped this year compared to years past. So, and they credit this to their new processes they've implemented at their high schools in the Norman Public School area. So, I think there's a lot of merit there. We heard them talk at a webinar with the city of Ponca City just a few months ago. And when the Attorney General's office announced last month that they're opening up another round of grants to be considered, I can't remember how many $1 million are looking to grant this year. We thought we wanted to jump on this opportunity and see if we can bring some of those funds to Ponca City Public Schools and help our kids, help our principals and teachers make sure that we get kids educated instead of just kicking them out of school for that. I mean, obviously we've got to have a hard stance, so we don't want that in our schools, but we understand that some families and kids just struggle with that, and if there's an educational opportunity we can help prevent that or get that corrected while they're young before they turn into adults, I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to consider. Driver's education applications open on April 16th at 8 a.m. Last year we filled that within the first 3 minutes. So I would tell individuals, we'll be letting people know through our Power School messaging, and then that portal opens up on that date at that time, and they go to forms to sign up. So I'm excited. I hope we're able to serve as many kids as we did last year. The goal is to double that. You know, when we talked about this last month, there might be some hindrances with law changes about parents if they elect to only have their kid individually taught instead of riding in a car with others. That can have some impacts on how many we can. So we're going to get those signed up and look at make sure that we can serve the kids that get signed up. And I would encourage people to continue signing up because we might be able to double those numbers and get 80 kids this year. So we'll just have to wait to see how many people sign up for the individual instruction or can sign up for the group instruction on that. But remember, we cannot deny them if they sign up for individual. That's part of the law. So we will not be selectively selecting our applicants based off that. Even more plans. April 17th is when we announce our top 20 high school seniors. Friday, May 2nd, we're having a signing day number 2 at Robson. So other students that have signed since then for colleges, and we'll have some additional plans on May 2nd for that. The first one was well attended. I thought it was a phenomenal event, so we'll be doing that. Walk the halls. It's kind of a high tradition that Shelley started that I want to continue. Is going to be on May 15th. May 7th is senior lunch. May 12th is scholarship night. I put that one on there because we also, guess what we have on May 12th? This meeting. So that scholarship night starts at 7 p.m. and it has to be that night because that is the only night that the concert hall is not booked. So it's going to be May 12th at 7 p.m. This meeting starts at 6 and we're going to get done by 7. Or you're going to not have a superintendent for the second part of it on that. But we'll get that done. Baccalaureate, May 15th, and then May 16th is graduation, practice at 1:30, and I had to explain this to family. Graduation's at 8 on May 16th. I didn't choose that. Ponca City tradition chose that, so it's always 8.
My out-of-town relatives thought I was lying to them, so some of them didn't have to take naps to be able to stay up that late to start it, but it'll be all right. We're gonna be okay to get through this. So. Guys, lastly, I wanted to talk about this because I think that one, they're not boring, but they can be boring. But I get really kind of geeked out and excited about this. We are going to do our second round of data reviews between now and our next May board meeting. Well, as I told you in the fall, or actually early spring, because we did this in December, every one of our central admins will be at every site before May 16th and schedule 2-hour data reviews. We are going to be looking with the principals and their instructional team, student teacher, and any relevant data from the past year that the principals have collected, whether that's STAR or IXL scores, whether it's student attendance, or just employee attendance, goals for their building, goals for their departments, academic growth for our kids. I mean, I'm a big believer in academic growth. I would love to be top in academic performance, but if we're not growing them to get to academic performance, we're failing at the fundamental level. So how are our kids improving? Hopefully our kids are seeing a year or more of growth with our teachers in our programs, and if they're not, do we have a plan in place to address that and why? You know, those are basically the big questions: is how and why. You know, what are we seeing and why are we seeing that, and how can we as district admin help? And I know you as a board are interested in that as well. I threw a few dates on there. April 29. You can see there; those are some of the first 6 that we have signed up. But like I said, before May 16th, we will be at every site and we will be digging into it. We ask all these principals and all these teachers to do so much. And I think sometimes we lose sight, and I talked to our principals about this, we lose sight going from fire to fire, moving from one crisis to the next crisis, or one issue to the next issue, that we don't take a step back and look at the bigger picture together. To say, is what we're doing working, or is what we're not, if it's not working, why, and if it is working, let's celebrate it and let's continue to grow on that. So, and it really forced our directors to really have some tough conversations together as a team as well, because, you know, as we experience either personnel issues, or are we running into building issues, or, you know, do we have programs in the right areas? So it's just really giving us a good picture district-wide of where our resources are and how we can help and improve them there. So I'm hoping we can continue to see some continued growth from our sites as a result of these data reviews. We hosted the State Department of Ed last Friday to talk about a grant we want to apply for interventions. And they have some money available that school districts can go after. But one of the questions they asked are, what are some of the things you're doing as a district to try to do your own interventions? And I think data reviews are a big one, that we're taking a look at all of the things we're asking our teachers to do, all the assessments our kids are doing, and evaluating, are they working, are PLCs working, and are we having these conversations we need to be having? So I kind of get geeked out about that stuff. But any questions for me? That's my report.
What's
Robin?
the latest on banning of cell phones?
Banning of cell phones, it's on the governor's desk.
You gonna sign it?
I would imagine so, yes. Yes, I would imagine. So there's a couple different variations. I say it's in governor's desk. They're in conference right now because there's 2 different versions of the House and Senate version. They both passed both chambers, so they're kind of tweaking what language they want to put in to get to the governor. I'm sure there's going to be a local control element that the boards can adopt a cell phone policy. However, if you take one of the versions of the bill has, if the board takes a less than bell-to-bell ban, like from opening bell to closing bell, then one of the caveats are I have to come up here and present that policy to you every year for you to either approve or deny. If that's the same policy we want to continue to use. So as that bill gets to the governor's desk, we will keep this board up to date on it. You know, I talked to my 2 high school seniors, or not high school seniors, I have one, high school students about a cell phone ban on campuses. And, you know, I was kind of surprised. They said outside of lunch we don't use our phone, but they may be a minority. I don't know.
Is it gonna be a bell-to-bell?
I imagine it'll be a bell-to-bell unless the board, well, give the board the opportunity to say if you don't have a bell-to-bell, then you're gonna have to present your cell phone policy. And it'll probably be something on accreditation every year that I have to show our regional accreditation officer. This is the cell phone policy that this Ponca City Public School Board has voted on and adopted.
So we'll have to adopt one prior to the school starting.
If it's anything similar to the Bixby Public School cell phone ban that the governor raved on at his State of the State address, he had Rob Miller there, and he talked about how cell phones, and Rob has taken a proactive stand. Our cell phone policy that we currently have on the books is almost verbatim exactly as Bixby's. So if that's the version that passed and that it meets the merit for Bixby Public Schools, our school board policy would be solid. But we'll see. The other, I didn't see how it came out in legislation or legislative in the committees today, but there was a retirement bill being heard that would lift the cap from 90 days to 60 days, essentially letting retirees come back to work without an earnings cap. So that would be a great short-term solution to help us address some of the shortfalls we're facing as a teacher pipeline to get keep some workforce in the office a little longer or in the classroom. Right now, May is traditionally when we celebrate our retirees in the district. Right now I have 5. And I mean, you can know in years past, we'd have this room full. I don't know if that's speaking to economic conditions and people wanting to hold on to their jobs, or just that's the age of our workforce. It's just kind of a random weird year that not very many people want to retire. I don't know. So, but right now, Lori brought that to me and I counted 5. So I'm pretty sure I can go that high. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Motion is going to be required for the approval of the consent agenda as printed or as amended, but each board member may, however, call for a separate vote on any or all items listed on the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of 2 parts: the minutes of the March 10th, 2025 regular Board of Education meeting, and the minutes from the March 25th special board meeting, and the contracts agreements under $10,000. We only had 12 items under the contract agreements under $10,000. In the property committee met on those. There was nothing of a controversial nature on those. So at this point, unless the board member wants to talk about anything in particular of the 12 items, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, would you consider voting on item number 1, the consent agenda, separately?
Sure. On the minutes,
Sorry, not the minutes, I thought you were on the
contracts,
contracts.
American Roofing,
I did the minutes.
okay. Is there any other items that anybody would like to talk about or vote separately on?
So if I understand correctly, you don't want American Roofing on the, help me understand that again?
Well,
I'm asking to have that as a separate vote.
Okay.
But we're not on that one, right?
I apologize.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you would withdraw your ask?
I'll withdraw. Until the next time, sorry.
okay.
All right.
So I would look for a motion to approve item 8.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Nancy, second by Judy. Any comments? Call for the vote.
Joe Baden,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Judy True,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed,
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9, action items. Again, a motion will be required. It's consider and take action on the following district financial reports. We talked about all those in the finance committee, everything from change order listings to the child nutrition funds, etc. Most important one is letter O, the ratification and approval of the payrolls. That is one that we definitely.
That might get you a phone call.
Yeah, that would get us a majorly phone call. So do I have a motion to approve items A through O?
I'll make a motion to approve items A through O.
I'll second.
And a second, motion made by Judy, seconded by Nancy. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Judy True,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Joe Baden,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed,
Aye.
Motion carries. consider and take action on the following contracts and agreements. I will list them all, and then we can talk about any one in particular that somebody wants to talk about. A is a proposal for American Roofing for Works at the Ponca City High School and the East Gymnasium. B, proposal for American Roofing for Work at the Ponca City High School Wrestling Room. I believe that is probably wrestling room and the hallway feeding it. C, an agreement with Apogee to provide online platform for the district. D, quote from Art of Education University for online subscription to Flex Curriculum. E, estimate from Kramer's Construction for repairs to the Ponca City High School parking lot. That is for $12,122, and it has to do with a couple cracks in the pavement and also the concrete on the entryway. F, quote from Discovery Education for a Dreambox Reading Plus site license for the high school. G, a quote again from Discovery Education for a Dreambox Reading Plus site license for West Middle School. One is for $13,150, the other one is $14,190. H, an agreement with EF High School Exchange Year for a foreign exchange student to attend the Ponca City High School. That also is the same as item L, but there are two different organizations that we have to get approval. We have to approve from the board standpoint before they can send the student. It's the same student. I, ratification of an agreement with Imagine Learning for site license for Ponca City Virtual Academy, Wildcat Academy in the high school commentary. That is a name change only. J, quote from IXL Learning for student license for West Middle School, East Middle School, and the high school. And hopefully that will improve the test scores. Right?
That's the plan.
K, a program for agreement with the state, Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education, Oklahoma Teacher Connection, OTC, Teach Oklahoma, is a project which targets high schools, juniors, and seniors who possess high academic and leadership standards. L, an agreement, we talked about L, same as the other previous one, the second organization that we have to get approval for the same person. M is a quote from Renaissance Learning for reading and math level assessment programs, pre-K 5th grades. We had a pretty long discussion on this one. It is a 17% increase, which in my opinion is extremely high, but we've been using it for a long time, and Adam has asked Terry Vogel to research it to see if there's another outstanding vendor that we can use to replace this particular Renaissance Learning. But it was just too late in the game to be changing presently. So does anybody need a discussion on any of these items? No?
Mr. Chair, I would like to propose separating out items A and B from this as a separate vote.
A and B. Okay, that would be proposal for the American Roofing. Okay, I would accept a motion for items C through O if there's no other comments on any others.
I'll make a motion.
That's good. And Judy got a second. Comments or discussions on A or B, excluding those two. So it's on C through O. Call for the vote.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Joe Baden.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Baden, you want to talk a little bit about A and B?
I don't want to discuss them, I just want to recuse myself from voting on them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a conflict of interest there.
Sure, and I can understand that, and I appreciate your concern on that one. So do I have a motion for items A and B approval?
It's okay with the chair, I just want to make sure that these bids were received well before the election. So all above board there.
I can't say that I did not work on either of those two proposals.
Good.
I'll make a motion to, vote on A and B.
Do I have a second?
Steve, yeah.
Nancy? Any other discussion on items A or B? Call for the vote then.
Nancy Zimmershed. Judy Truitt.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye. Motion carries.
So you have to ask him.
I do?
Yes.
Okay. Joe Baden.
Abstain.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Okay, item 3. Motion to vote to convene an executive session for the following purposes. Do we need to have one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, to discuss, and I've been told that there's several things, only those things that we can discuss in executive session by OSSBA Legal Department, the possible termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel, or to discuss negotiations concerning employees and representatives of the employees group, or to discuss purchase or appraisal of real estate, and to discuss confidential conversations with the board's attorney in the claims and litigation. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
I'll make a motion to move to.
Motion by Judy, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Nancy. Comments, questions, call for the vote.
Joe Baden.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Aye.
We're now in executive session. We'll return to open session. Let's see. That's the wrong one. Doesn't count. I can probably shoot it from one.
Recital of board minutes
Yes, recital of the board minutes.
So you have a special note.
and vote on the personal action
Yep. And you're gonna tell us that we don't have any new business.
and no new business, Chair.
Recital of the board president, the minutes of executive session were kept by the board minutes clerk at the Erica and remain confidential. Consider and take action on the recommendations for terminating, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel. Do I have a motion for that?
I will motion.
Okay, do I have a second? Call for the vote?
Judy Truitt.
Aye.
Joe Baden.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye. New business, none?
Yes, sir.
Adjournment, motion required. Do I have a motion to
Motion
adjourn?
adjourned.
Okay, do I have a second?
Just got.
I'll second. But you don't.
So,